I like a little victory. That's the 10mm socket. I got lucky. Two of the fixing screws actually came undone, and that allowed the grill to pivot and drop off. I wasn't going to replace this part, but it's had a lot of repair. It's clearly been smacked at some point. There's a massive plate riveted on this side, and it looks like there's another one just under the bumper there, and it's all cracked. And the valance behind looks alright, but I don't know, maybe they hit a bird or something. They are available, they do pop up every now and then, so I'll see if I can get hold of one. For now, I'm just going to put this one back on the car. It's not a problem for the minute, and it's stable enough. The repair that's been done, it's agricultural, but it works, so there's no need to change anything about that. It's a nice easy fix. One of the things that's not really very apparent on the front of the Maestro is the grille here that goes underneath the bumper is broken, and I've been after a replacement one. And then I found one online. Wasn't very much. It's in great condition. I've just given it a quick scrub down. Wasn't even that dirty, so very happy with that. It's very, very easy to fit. There are a couple of screws. There's one on the outside edge here, two in the middle, there's one here, there's one hiding up under there under the number plate, and then there's another one here just on the other end. So just 4 screws and that comes off. Once that's off, I'll be able to show you what the problem is with this old grille. It's quite impressive. What I hadn't expected was this head to basically disintegrate. This is why I've been swapping around different screwdrivers, and I don't know whether or not these are the originals. They don't look exactly right, but this one's putting up a bit of a fight. I found out why this side was giving me so much trouble. I managed to get the grille off past the fixing, but it's all fused up. So the head of that's just ruined anyway, so I'm gonna just cut the head off there to remove that. The other ones are fine. These, you can still see the captive part is still there, no problem. So that might cause a little bit of a headache. I'm still not entirely sure that that's correct. I still feel like that's not right, but I have no idea. It's supposed to go on, it seems, with 4 fixings. The top one here, the plastic washer was missing, so there was nothing holding that on. And you can see new one on the top, old one on the bottom. What's impressive is when this was broken, they didn't replace it, they repaired it. And you see all these little rivets here. Somebody has gone to the trouble of making these big metal plates and riveting them all on. And they've even cut out the gap here for the airflow. And this one's all textured. I mean, this looks like it belongs to an old dashboard or something. But yeah, that's quite impressive that somebody's gone to that much trouble with it. I won't be doing that. I'll be fitting this one. The camera does make it look shorter, but it's not. They are exactly the same. But first I've got to deal with that dodgy fixing down there, and then we can get all of this ready to go. The bodge goes deeper than I thought. These things, they're like, I don't know, some sort of riv knot thing. Little plastic spaces stop them pulling through. They don't seem to be at all reusable. I can't get the bolts that were in to actually bite into them. Can't get any of mine, the various ones I've got, to bite in, so that's not ideal. What should be in there was one original left, is this, and it has two legs that spread out on the back and this big large plastic face that stops it pulling through the hole in the grille. As you can see, the square is bigger than the hole, so that's what should be in there. And then there's a plastic nut that goes in that's all kinds of broken. So I need to replicate that fitting with what I've got. The nearest thing I have at the moment is just this jobby. I've only got one of them. I used quite a few of these on the Princess, so yeah, and the only one I've got seems to have a stripped thread on it, which is brilliant. However, I can go a slightly different bodging route. I've got a bunch of these, which I've rescued from other door fittings, because these tend to break, and these just about fit in the holes in the valance, and I can then put a regular screw or bolt and a washer in there. It won't be perfect, but it will work, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Well, I've managed to dig out enough fixings to approximate this one. So I know I needed a square washer, because if you use a round one it doesn't quite fit in the moulding, and I needed something that would spread on the back so I wouldn't have to try and get in there to do up a nut, because there isn't really any access. So I've ended up using little bits of plastic from the previous bodge, the push fit pieces from another door, and a set of screws that are all the relevant sort of size. So hopefully I can just push these in the holes and then screw them in like normal from the front, and then I'll have a look out and see if I can find some of these which will make it a lot easier to fit it properly. For now this will be perfectly adequate for what we're doing. This was one of those jobs that was supposed to be like, oh, I'll just unscrew one and put the other one on, but oh well, old cars. One thing I've had to do is just file these rind holes slightly square, because these fixings are squarer, and then just push them in like that and you're done. And that will then, as I put the screw in, it will spread out the back of it, and that will lock everything in place. It works well enough, but it doesn't feel fantastically secure. So I'm going to run a cable tie round here, belt and braces, because I'm just a little bit worried that when I'm driving the vibrations might make everything come loose. I'll get some proper fixings for these. I don't want to run it without the grill because you can just see through the gap. This protects the bottom of the radiator, so if I didn't have a grill and anything went through, it'd go straight into the radiator, which I don't want. Does it look any better? No. Does it look any worse? No. Looks about the same. But at least it's not a broken piece now. One thing that this piece has allowed me to figure out is that this corner of the valance where I'm having trouble with it meeting the wing is pushed back ever so slightly. It's not much. So now that I've got this piece, which is the shape it should be, I've got a reference point for pulling this valance out as far as I need to, so I can sort that wing gap out at the bottom, so that's good. Cable ties was not the way I was planning on going here, but once I can replace those fixings, then I know I can put that in properly. The little tiny corners I filed into those circles, that won't make any difference, because I haven't actually changed the overall size of the hole. I've just squared it off a tiny bit to allow those fixings to go in. Fixing a bodge with a bodge, it's never really ideal. The trouble is, as soon as I've got the old grill off, all the fixings were broken, the grill itself is broken. I couldn't put it back on, so I had to make use of what I've got. It's too late to go to a shop, and even if I order it online, it's not here today. So this will be a temporary fix. This is just how it is sometimes when you're using a car. I do have a bumper corner to go on here that's not damaged. That will happen, but I want to try and straighten out this section here first. Just get that nice and tidy, and then when the bumper corner goes on, that'll be okay. As it is, it's not really an issue. There's no sharp edges here. It just looks a bit unsightly.